Hello, guys, and welcome to another edition of Comic Book Weekly. Thanks for joining us. We try to do a show even during the holidays. We're going to actually try doing one next week as well. And we have a lot of news. I'm kind of excited to talk about that. And we have a lot of books this week. Next week is going to be an interesting show because I don't know how much news is going to be out because it's Christmas. There's not going to be a ton of stuff going on. And then I'm getting like 6 books next week. So I'm curious to see how that's going to go. But maybe we'll do like a Q&A next week. Maybe we'll make it like a short show next week too. We'll see.
Yeah.
Have to let us know.
It's about the same for me, like 5 or 6 books. It's low, very low.
Yeah, but I think Mike said he would be able to come on for that one, so that should be fun. Either way, we'll try and make it a fun show so we don't have a lull. And I don't believe it doesn't land on a holiday, which is why we're trying to do it. But yeah, let's get started. So, getting into the news here, we have let's talk about the media news first, which is Boba Fett gets a spin-off series. So. No spoilers for Mandalorian. I heard what happened, but we won't spread any spoilers here because I'm sure not everyone's seen it, and I don't watch the show, so I definitely haven't seen it. But no spoilers. But yeah, Boba Fett. How do you feel about that?
I have seen the show, so I won't spoil it, but it was very good. If you watch the last episode, watch the scene after the credits. But yeah, I think it's cool because they've kind of reintroduced him into the mythos here in Mandalorian, and it's an interesting take on the character and where he's headed. So I'm excited to see what they do with it.
So let's get into some of that comic news. So I'm trying to see because there's just so many interesting stuff that happened this week. But we'll start with Silk getting her own ongoing again. Now we're finally got a date. This is supposed to be like last year. We were supposed to get this series, and now it's finally here for March. And I'm excited. I miss Silk. We haven't really seen much of her.
Yeah, I like Silk too, and I think they were starting to try to explore more of her personal life in that last run. So I'm kind of excited to see where they go with her next. I think she's a highly underrated character that there hasn't been a lot done with her. So, I mean, aside from the what do you call it, the team that she was on with what's his name, Amadeus and all those.
Oh yeah, Atlantis something.
Yeah,
I forget what it was called.
Atlantis attacks or whatever. Yeah. Aside from that, but it's when you're in an ensemble cast, you don't really get to explore a lot of the characters, so especially with a series like that where it was all action oriented.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. We do have a question from BJ Kumar. If you want to reboot any comic book characters, which one will it be and why? I mean, I always say Dazzler because I think that'd be fascinating.
Dazzler and Jubilee. Do it, buddy.
Oh yeah, they have to be together.
That would be awesome.
Jubilee's a roadie.
I don't know about rebooting because I've liked what they've done with Magic lately, but I'd like to see her like in a solo series.
That'd be cool. Yeah. I love Magic, but I feel like she's one of those characters. Yeah, she interacts with too many people. She's never just by herself having an adventure, or at least in recent years. I know, back in the 80s she did, but now I feel like it's always just she's interacting with someone.
Right.
So I agree with that. So we also have a new digital book coming out for Wonder Woman. So they are celebrating her 80th anniversary. This also will be a physical book. So if you are like us who like physical books and don't really read the digital first, it will be, I think in March, it'll be collected. And it looks like it's just short stories. It's called Sensational Wonder Woman. I don't know if I'll pick this up. It doesn't seem like there's anything too original with it, but I think it's cool that they're celebrating her like they did Batman and Superman in some regards.
Yeah, I marked this because it's kind of funny because I just followed the writer on Twitter the other day. Like a bunch of my friends were following her, and I was like, okay, I'll check her out. I had no idea who she was, and I started looking, and I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. I'll follow too. So then I saw her name pop up in this article. I was like, oh, okay, maybe that's why they were following her.
Well, she's writing Harley Quinn, so that's gonna be like her big thing, and she writes a Man Among Ye. I haven't really.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I haven't been able to get into her writing, but I hope I can, when time comes in.
I
She's got a
liked
lot of series.
Yeah, I liked the first issue of A Man Among Ye, and then for whatever reason, I fell off of it. I think I forgot about it. But, yeah,
Honestly,
no,
probably.
yeah, I don't know. With the digital, I tend to forget about them, so we'll see. But yeah, it's cool that they're, like we've talked about with Future State, giving other writers opportunities with the big characters and stuff.
We got a comment from Gore. Reading old Dazzler comics are an accurate chronicle of the early 80s. It was a fun comic like the film Flashdance and other sexy movies from that period. Yeah, I what I like about Dazzler is she's so 80s, right? Like, how do you adapt that to now? And it's because it's so retro. I think that's how you could adapt it to now. I always think it's interesting to see like music in comics because you don't hear it. So how do you portray music? And I always find that interesting.
Yeah.
Let me see. He also asks BJ, parents who say comics are for kids, what do you say to them? All the comic book related TV shows, right? You have Walking Dead and Watchmen. These kind of more gory / adult shows. You just kind of point them to that direction. I honestly don't hear many people say that these days. I think after the Avengers movies, they kind of got that as more of a mainstream thing. Actually, I would say after Walking Dead, they kind of understood, oh, okay, comics are not just Batman 66.
Yeah, and even before that, there were like several movies that came out that people had no idea were based on graphic novels and that kind of thing, like Road to Perdition with Tom Hanks and different things like that. So yeah, I think people are more aware these days, but there are still comics that are just for kids. So it's like for everybody.
We have another question from Mike Manhattan. Wouldn't the modern equivalent to Dazzler be Katy Perry or Lady Gaga or Taylor Swift? No, I think if I'm being completely honest, I think the equivalent to Dazzler is Carly Rae Jepsen. She was someone who had a big hit, the one-hit wonder, and then she got this underground cult after that. Like, people know she's a very good singer. She had a great album after, her one-hit wonder, but people don't really know her. I would say that would be Dazzler.
Yeah, but we really, 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 really like her.
Exactly. We really, 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 really like her. If you know any of Carly Rae's jams. But yeah, I think that would be kind of cool. I would love to see like Carly Rae play Dazzler. That'd be pretty awesome.
That would be cool. Yeah, that's a good comparison. I like that.
Yeah, so I was trying to see if there's comments. There's a lot of comments about stories we're going to talk about. Like all the Justice League stuff, Nightwing, we're getting there. Don't worry. We're going to talk about it. Let's see what we got up next. We do have Infinite Frontier issue 0 is coming out, and it's not rebooting DC, but it is, kind of showing a new era of DC, which obviously we're going to talk about. But I'm really excited. Last year, a lot of our conversations were, there's nothing exciting coming out from DC. It just kind of feels like the same thing over and over again. I'm really glad they kind of did the Marvel Now thing, and they're just like, we're going to just change stuff up. And I like that.
Yeah. And aesthetically, that cover image or that image that they showed reminded me of New Frontier. And that just kind of, it brought back those memories. And it's like, it's paying homage to this classic story that everybody loved and kind of taking DC in a new direction. So I'm kind of excited for it to see, where it takes us. That and Future State, both.
I agree. And again, we'll get into those other news pieces. Let's see. Helena gets a new redesign in Batman and Catwoman, which I am still reading. We'll see how it goes. But I'm most interested in her because, like, her taking over the Bat mantle. We've never seen like a female daughter take over the Bat mantle. So I'm curious about that.
Yeah, it's interesting putting her in a mostly bat suit too. I never saw that for her, but it kind of looked cool and it makes sense, giving her parentage. So, I don't know if I'm gonna read that series or not. We'll see. I'm gonna give it one more issue, but yeah.
I think that's where I'm at. If issue 2 is the way issue 1 was. Yeah. I don't think I'll be getting more, but I might just skim through it, and be like, okay, cool. I'll skim through issue 3, but I won't review it. I probably won't read it all. So, getting into creator of Murder Falcon. I wish Mike was here because I know he was a big Murder Falcon fan. Is going to be doing Beta Ray Bill art and writing for that book.
Yeah, I wish Mike was here too because, like you said, he loved that book, and that's kind of why I marked it to give a shout out for him, but also because they've been doing some interesting things with Beta Ray Bill in Thor. And so I'm curious to see how he gets from that point to where he is in this miniseries, the way they described it, because he's been stripped of his Thor abilities in Thor by what's his name? The guy that Thor used to transform into.
Donald Blake.
Yeah. So he's been stripped of his Thor abilities by him. So I'm sure he'll get them back, but it talks about him having a new weapon and because Thor ruined his weapon and a new outfit and everything. So it's a cool transition for the character, and I'm curious for the series.
We also have a question from BJ again. Do you guys do the podcast with writers, pencilers, artists as well? We've interviewed people from Colin Bunn to David Finch, and usually it's just if they want to come on. It's not something that we look for. I think there's other podcasts that do that, and that's a big part. If you guys don't know, I work for Newsarama, so a lot of my day job is doing that. So this show is more about just like shooting the breeze about comics, less than interviewing, but definitely we've done it before, and I'm sure in the future we'll do it again. But that's kind of the gist of that one. I don't know if you have anything to add on that, Brant.
No, you pretty much covered it.
All right. Let's see what else we got. Damian Wayne gets a new costume, which looks kind of bland. It definitely it's supposed to be definitely more for like the League of Assassins, which I'm totally interested in him getting more into that, but the costume itself is like, okay.
Yeah, it looks like a medieval kind of thing. It was weird. I didn't really get it. So until you said the League of Assassins thing, it's like, oh, that makes a little more sense now, but yeah, just a little bland.
And next up is the new creative team is going to explore the redemption of Wally West, so the new creative team of The Flash. I think a lot of these, I'm going to try at least the first two issues, first issue, to see what new direction these comics are going in. So I'm a little tired of Wally West, though, if I'm being honest. I don't even care anymore about his redemption. I just don't care about the character at this point.
Yeah, it's just they totally screwed it up, and it's like I want them to be fixed, but at the same time I'm kind of getting tired of it too. I liked what was it that we just read with the Teen Titans?
The DC's Last Stories.
Yeah, Last Stories. Yeah, I liked the way that he was welcomed back into the fold of the Titans, and the way him and Donna made up and stuff like that. That was heartfelt, I thought, but yeah, I'll try it out though. I'm trying to remember who the creative team is. I was trying to find it.
Oh, I forget too. I could see if it's in the article or not.
I found the artist. I was trying to find the writer.
Writer is Jeremy Adams, who has done Black Racer and Future State's Black Adam.
Okay, so I'm not familiar with the writer, so we'll see.
Me either. So next up is the three big stories here. So we're going to save our title for last. But let's get into the new creative team for Action Comics and Superman. It is the same creators who are going to be working on, I believe, the Future State stuff going on. And it is Philip Kennedy Johnson, who has done The Last God and also Superman Worlds of War, which is the Future State book. He's also done A Tales of the Dark Multiverse. I forget which one. And then the artist is Phil Hester and Eric Gapster. Phil Hester, is he the one who does Family Tree?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's going to be interesting. A very distinct style.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you go.
I was agreeing with you that it's going to be an interesting style for Superman, that art style. And the writer, I read some of The Last God. Like, I probably read like 6 issues. It was good. It just couldn't keep my attention, so that concerns me a little bit. But hopefully he'll be stronger on Superman.
Yeah, it's interesting because these writers, not saying he's a new writer, obviously he's done
Yeah.
stuff, he's done longer series, but he's not an A-list writer, this person. You would think like someone to take over Superman would be like a Tom Taylor or a Mark Waid or
Yeah.
whatever. So I'm very interested in that, but they're also kind of taking the Scott Snyder, Tom King route. Like the reason those people, those creators are big names is because they made their name on that Batman run. Like what's interesting about like Scott Snyder, like before that, he was doing small backup stories for Batman and he was doing American Vampire. Like obviously he still was a prolific writer, but he wasn't an A-list writer yet. And Batman, his run made him that. So I'm curious, like how that's going to work for Superman. We've seen it a lot for Batman, and it's succeeding. Even James Tynion, James Tynion, he's definitely done a lot, but he wasn't an A-list writer until now. Until this year, he's gotten a lot of indie books that have made it, and now Batman. It all just happened in 2020. He's the only one who's had a good year. So yeah, I'm interested.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because, we talked about the different art style, and it's definitely going to be a different writing style too. So it's going to be a completely different take on Superman than I think we've seen before. Last God was it was a fantasy kind of medieval type book, but it was steeped in lore and, myth and that kind of thing. So I'm curious to see what kind of stories they tell in these books going forward. So I'm looking forward to it.
We'll definitely be picking up. It'll be nice to hopefully talk about Superman again because it's been a very long time. Yes. Yeah, I'm not a hardcore Superman fan, so it's a little hard because like when Batman's not doing well, or I'm not like in a Batman series, like oh my god, like I miss Batman. For me, I never really missed Superman because growing up, like I never really read too much Superman. Like I'll pick up issues here and there, but it was never my bread and butter. But I'm happy for people that love Superman, but it's kind of hard for me to like pick up Superman continuously.
Yeah, and I get that too. I only read it like consistently during the death and reign of Superman. Then I've been kind of like you, kind of in and out with it. But yeah, I'd like to read it if it can.
Yeah, I hope it's great. Like I want to see a Superman run where it's like, oh my god, this is like it's just an example. Matt Fraction's, Iron Man. It's like, oh my god, you have to read this. Like, I never really felt that for a Superman run. And Superman fans might be like, oh, you have to read, this, whatever. But I want it as a comic book community saying you have to read Superman right now.
Yeah, I would love that for Superman, for sure.
We have some questions I definitely want to answer here. Where does Dan Jurgens, Tomasi, or any of the A-list writers? And he asks, where's Dan Jurgens? If you mean for Superman, I think it's great that Dan Jurgens has done so much for Superman, and he's had some really great runs, and same for Tomasi. But these are the same voices we're getting over and over and over again. Like I get that people like them, and I do, and I think they're great, talented writers. But give other people a chance. Let them write maybe some indie stuff. Let them write some other characters, because Tomasi especially, he's only really written, well, not only written, he's obviously written other characters, but like the big main characters he's been writing recently is Batman and Superman. Why not make him write Green Lantern or JSA, something that's just completely different, because it gets a little repetitive if you get the same voices, and especially for Jurgens, who's been on and off Superman since the 90s.
Yeah, for sure. I completely agree with that. I just saw Dan Jurgens' name on something recently, so he's still working. He's still there.
For sure. For sure. He's always working. I'm sure he'll have another DC project as well. I think that's not, we're adults that we need Superman more, though. I think, I don't know what that was a comment towards, but we definitely need more Superman. Again, hopefully we'll get that. Do you believe the Superman family will return? I believe they're in the books already. So
yeah, and I read something about it's John back from Legion and all that, and that's where this story picks up when this writer takes over.
All right, let's see if there's any other comments. Okay, now going into Michael Bendis is writing Justice League. I like the roster. I think that looked really cool because we have like Wonder Woman's mom on there. I'm like, whoa. And then Green Arrow. I love Naomi to death. I love her. I don't think she should be on the Justice League just because she was just on Young Justice. And she like, what?
Yeah. It's a little soon. Yeah,
Yeah,
But
that's a little too soon. And then Bendis jumping on, he hasn't been on DC for a long time, and now he's on Justice League. And it just feels like he's rushing things so quickly.
I felt like that was where he was going to go when he left Superman. That's kind of what was always in the back of my mind. That's what would pull him off Superman is if he got Justice League. Yeah, so it's like, I don't know. I like some of Bendis' work, but I didn't like his Superman at all. So I don't know how I'm going to feel about his Justice League either. I guess it depends on what story he's telling. But he's a very talking heads kind of writer, and Justice League is a very action-oriented kind of book. So that has me concerned a little bit.
I agree. But we know he does team books well, so I hope we get like the best of Bendis. He's working on one title now. I would love this to be a great book because again, I think the most recent stuff I loved from him was Naomi. It was a really perfect beginning, middle, and end, and we haven't had a perfect beginning, middle, and end in a long time. But also, he had a co-writer on that, so I think that really ended up helping him as well, and one that was a very good friend of his. All right, getting into the nitty gritty, the big news piece of the week, which is Tom Taylor and Bruno Rodolfo taking over Nightwing. Yes. And also the note that Batgirl is going to be pretty much a co-star in this book. It looks like, the title of our show, they're going to rekindle the romance between the two, which is in recent weeks has been kind of telegraphed since that last stories. We're really happy to see some of that story kind of continuing. But damn, Tom Taylor, I'm on. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly. I've wanted to read Nightwing for so long, and I keep trying it. I keep picking it up and putting it down, picking it up and putting it down. And I love Nightwing as a character, and I especially love his on again, off again with Barbara. So I love that they're going back to that. And to have a writer like Tom Taylor on that character, it's going to bring him back up to the heights that he deserves to be at, I think. So, I'm putting a lot of pressure on Tom Taylor, but I think he can handle it. So I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, and I feel like any other writer, I would be a little nervous about making Batgirl this co-lead because I'm just like, okay, then she's just going to be defined as the girlfriend. And Demetria actually says he didn't say romance. Don't get your hopes up. So we'll see. I do think the writing's on the wall on that one. But anyways, going back to it because it's Tom Taylor. He writes female characters really well, and they're not just props. So I'm really excited for that because I think we'll get the best of their friendship or romance or whatever out of it in their dynamic because of him. And then the artwork is going to be super phenomenal. So I am so excited for this.
Yeah, and I think the balance of the relationship, like you said, whether it's friendship or romantic, it's they just work well together, those two. And when they're done right, they play off each other really well. And I think it could be like an up and down kind of thing. We've seen little hints of them getting back together in different books recently. But even if that's not what this story is about, even if it is just kind of them, teaming up or whatever, I think it's going to be solid.
I agree. So that was all the news. Thank you guys. A lot of people on Comic Frontline are watching. So I'm, very
awesome.
happy to see that. I think we have 21 on Comic Frontline right now. So thank you guys for watching us, especially as we get closer to Christmas here. Yeah. So we are gonna get into the comic books for this week. So first up is Under the Radar. So Brant, what was your Under the Radar this week?
My Under the Radar was as I'm switching screens now because I forgot to get over there. Taskmaster issue number 2. This is such a good book that I never thought I'd be able to say that about Taskmaster. I thought I was going to read this first issue and be like, yeah, I'm not ever reading that again. But the first issue was so good it pulled me into this one, and this issue showed us things about Taskmaster that I didn't know. Like, he goes up against Hyperion, and Hyperion, if anybody doesn't know, is a Superman level type character in Marvel, and he gets the crap beat out of him, but he does it on purpose so he can get the drop on Hyperion. He purposely gets beat up, within an inch of his life so he can be underestimated to get one up on Hyperion, and he takes him down. And it's just like, okay, wow, that was pretty cool. And this series has just been really fun. The Black Widow is still, hunting Taskmaster. Nick Fury is still helping Taskmaster. It's just good. It's fun, and it's not what you expect at all.
And so one thing, we did have a question from Jimmy G, which was about Ember, and I totally blanked on it because we were talking about Nightwing, and I forgot to mention it. But yeah, Ember, how's it going? Last Ember right now, because he wanted to ask.
It's going well. Federico, my artist, he had some other commitments he had to wrap up, so he's resuming work on it this week. So there should be new pages coming in soon, and we're on target for fulfillment, and we're going to go right into the next issue after that. So things are going well.
There you go. I'm very excited for it. And yeah, since it's a shorter show, definitely if you guys have any questions for us throughout the show, let us know. We always love answering, especially comic questions and comic creating questions. So let's get into my Under the Radar, which was Second Coming. I really love this book. It's actually pretty new reader friendly. I have read the last volume, but if you haven't, this is pretty much a parody of Superman's origins. It's this couple who their world's ending. They live on crystals, and they're like, let's go out on a bang. And it's just a really hysterical issue, but also ties into our main characters because our main characters are having a baby and what that kind of all means. So we get the origin of our superhero to get into the baby story. So I really enjoyed it. I love this book, and I think it's hysterical and some of Mark Russell's best work.
Cool.
So let's get into big books, which is what Brant's going to be doing this week.
Yeah. So big books, and we'll throw in our top 5 in the midst of all that. So we got some interesting books to talk about. First up, we've got Black Cat, number 1, which was a totally blanking on the name of the
King in Black.
King in Black. I keep forgetting that. I keep on wanting to call it Venom something. But, I don't know why. It's King in Black. It was a King in Black tie-in, relaunch of the series. And did you read this one?
I did not, but I skimmed through it, and I thought Black Cat's little ponytail looked nice.
Yeah. Black Cat looked really nice in the ponytail, and this was a really good story. Black Cat has been good consistently for a while now, and I wasn't sure if it was going to keep the same storyline going on when they relaunched it, but they totally did. And as much as this was a tie-in to King in Black, it was still very true to what Black Cat is, which is a heist book. And she's got her ragtag team of thieves together, and their mission is to steal Doctor Strange from Null. And that's their whole purpose, and because he's more important than anybody else. And I love the way that she was interjected into this, and it was a tie-in to an event, but at the same time, it was still her very own story. And it didn't feel like it was forced. It felt like it was natural and organic, and it was a really good first issue. So I highly recommend it personally.
I'm glad it's going in a good direction, and even with the tie-in, it seems like it's doing its thing, which is always nice. We do have a question for you, Brant. You have so many questions tonight. Mike Manhattan, what happened to all your posters on your wall?
I switched so the way my desk is set up, I have an L-shaped desk, and I have a laptop right beside me. So I was on this camera, and it was pointing towards this wall over here, which is where the pictures and stuff are. My connection to the internet is not strong on the laptop anymore, so I'm back on this one, and I haven't hung these pictures yet because I'm waiting on frames. So that's why.
That's your answer. And also, Brant's internet has been much better in the past couple of weeks, so also a good decision. I
got a new giant Wi-Fi sticker. That's why.
So it's not the new computer; it's just the finally you got
it's
the
still an old
Wi-Fi.
Computer. Yeah, just got better Wi-Fi. So.
We do have a question from Tizzy. Would you recommend, so this is for me more, would you recommend Power Rangers, new reader friendly, trying to expand my pull list? Hell yeah, I think Power Rangers has been great. Brant has read TMNT Power Rangers, and that was extremely new reader friendly for both franchises. But if you want to just jump into only Power Rangers, Go Power Rangers. Love it. So good. And it's very new reader friendly. So just pick up the trades for Go and just kind of work your way from there.
Cool. All right. Oh,
Yeah, let's get into. I was just gonna. Borchevia had a question for you, only you, Brant. What's your favorite comic couple and why?
Oh wow, favorite comic couple. I don't know. I like a
Right,
lot of comic
so
couples.
many.
I mean, I like Pete and MJ, and I've already mentioned Nightwing and Barbara. They're those are all up there. I really liked. This is kind of digging deep, but I really liked Justice and Firestar back in the day. I really liked their relationship, their dynamic, even
That's a
though
good
it was,
one.
yeah, it was combustible at times, no pun intended, but it was still really strong relationship.
Well, for me, probably MJ and Peter. Really like Carolina and Nico. Those are two from like top of my head.
Hmm.
Tim and Stephanie are pretty good. It's
Yeah,
hard to say because I like them a lot, but I don't know if writers really write them very well together. I feel like a lot of times when they're written together, they have no personalities, but they obviously have great personalities outside themselves. But like the idea of them are really great.
that's the funny thing is when they first were brought together, they both had such strong individual personalities. It was crazy, and yeah, I agree though. Joker and Harley, come on.
No for Joker and Harley. Poison Ivy and Harley. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, especially Norman and Gwen. You guys do.
that's young twisted tonight.
Yeah, that's a little twisted. There are more questions, but we're gonna do our next book and then we'll get to the other questions.
Yeah, sorry. Our next book is Batman issue 105. This was the big wrap up to the Ghostmaker story, and the whole clown hunter thing, whether he was going to kill Harley or not. So interesting way that they resolved this. Still, just like the previous few issues, the strongest part of this issue was the Harley stuff.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It was definitely the Ghostmaker stuff. What do you think?
No, I agree, and I think your word of interesting was my exact reaction because Ghostmaker and Bruce are friends in the end. I'm like, what? When? How? That was quick.
Yeah, the whole wrap up with Harley and Clown Hunter, I thought that was done really well.
Oh yeah, great stuff there.
Yeah, Harley kind of reliving all that stuff with Joker and kind of relating to Bao. I guess that's how you say his name, Bao. I thought that was really good. But the stuff with Ghostmaker, like you said, it's like, okay, they're fighting, they're at war. He's trying to have people killed, and now they're just best friends and they're going to work together. And it's like, what?
And it comes out of nowhere. I was like, oh, all right, I guess so.
Yeah, it made no sense. I didn't like that at all. But there it is. Now it's over, and we're going into future state.
I'm interested to see what they'll do for the future. I did an interview with James on Newsarama talking about like the future of Batman and where it's going, and it sounded really interesting. Scarecrow is going to be the next big villain. That's
okay.
gonna be cool.
Yeah, haven't seen him for a bit.
Yeah, we haven't seen him. It's something different. So I'm interested. They have new characters showing up. Seems like they're doing stuff with the characters they've already introduced. So that's all good stuff. We do have a question from Kenny. Again, I'm gonna make this a both of us question. I'm looking again in some indie comics that are like the big two. What do you recommend that are like the big two? I feel like people go to indie comics so it's not like the big two. So that's like an actual hard question.
I mean, the glaring one is Invincible.
I was just gonna say that Invincible.
Yeah.
That's the only one I could really think of because it's superheroes. So like, if you want to have a superhero book, the Invincible, maybe The Boys. I don't read it, but I know it's the complete opposite of a superhero book. So at least that's something. What else?
Man.
Power Rangers, maybe because it's superhero-esque.
Yeah, I can see that. I don't know. I'd have to think about that one for better examples. Noble Causes from what is the writer's name? I can't think of the writer's name at the moment. But that's an older Image series. That was it was a superhero family. It was a really good series.
Jay Farber. Yeah, Jay.
Yeah, Jay Farber.
He does some good stuff. I know he does some TV writing as well. He says that he's thinking about getting Paper Girls. Totally get Paper Girls, but it's nothing like nothing like superhero books though. So it's gonna be a very different vibe.
Yeah. I don't want to. There's some books I could say that are like, but I don't want to recommend them necessarily. So I'll ignore that. But yeah.
We have some more. Well, this is definitely for you, Brant. Have you watched the finale of Supernatural yet?
I have not yet because I don't want it to end. So I'm slowly burning through that last season. I think I have like 5 episodes left.
Let me see if there's anything else. Tevye said, well, I had answered this already, but what about The Boys? I don't watch it, so I don't have much of a comment, but I recommended it just because of what I know of The Boys.
I watched the first season. I liked it despite how, crazy it is, and it's out there, but I did not like the comic. So I did try the comic. The comic's even more over the top than the series is.
We have one more question, then definitely keep asking questions, but we're just going to move on to top 5, and we'll answer more.
Yeah.
We have some really good ones here, but that wasn't the question I was going to ask, but I guess we'll do that one and then allow the others. Same question for Kat. How's the progress for Life Ally Daughter? Doing really well. We only have pretty much all the pages are done. It's just some little corrections here and there. So hopefully that'll be done in a week for interiors. And then Lisa is going to start coloring after Christmas. And then Brant's going to let her, and then it's going to be done. So, everything is going really well. Definitely going to hit the March. I think definitely going to hit the March date that we have. And honestly, hopefully sooner we'll get the book out for you guys. I'm hoping February, if we can, early February. All right, let's get into our number 5, and then we'll answer more questions after we go through some big books.
Yeah, so my number 5 actually was Batman. So
nice.
We just talked about that. So what was yours?
Mine was Fantastic Four. I thought it was a pretty good issue. It's a 3.5 stars, so it's not like, oh my God, this is amazing. But I like the small moments of the issue. I think every character pretty much had a moment to shine. I like Franklin's little Iron Man moments. So overall, it was a pretty good issue character-wise. I do think it's, as always, with a Dan Slott book, a little crowded. But, I still had a fun time with it.
That was my issue. It was too crowded for me. So it was only a 3 for me, so it was a little bit lower. But I like the character moments too, but it just wasn't. Yeah, it was too spread out for me. This one.
Understandable.
All right, so let's get into our next big book, which is Stillwater number 4 from Image Comics. This is a series that we've both been really enjoying, and I don't think this issue was any exception. I enjoyed this one as well. We got more of the past of Tommy and his mom and how he kind of left and how this all started, which I thought was interesting. Not really why it started or, the secret behind, I don't think they even know, the town people even know what's going on still. But it was interesting.
Yeah, no, I enjoyed the mythos building because we get to see, the kid who is our main character was growing up, even though his body wasn't growing up, which was super interesting. Yeah. And we got to see really a big POV from the mom. I feel like this book moves a lot quicker than than any other book would in this situation. I feel like this would take like 10 issues to do, and I'm so happy it's not taking 10 issues to do. That's why I've been really enjoying it, because it just moves pretty well.
Yeah, I agree with that. And it was kind of weird seeing he was like a 1-year-old, but he was 5. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so he's walking around watching TV. It's like, what? It's so weird. But it's true. It's exploring immortality in a different way, which is, very interesting concept. So, and
then you definitely question about that little boy that we've seen in the past. He's obviously a lot older. Maybe that's why he's so inquisitive. So those are some interesting stuff. Before we get into our new next book, we'll answer some more questions here. By Jay says, what is your favorite comic book event? I honestly don't know if I have one. I don't quite like comic book events that much, honestly.
Like of all time? I
guess of all time.
I wasn't crazy about the way it ended, but I loved the concept of Secret Invasion. I thought that was really neat, the way that all came together and tied into the past of Marvel as well.
That's a good one. I don't know why, but I feel like War of the Realms keeps coming to my mind. It's definitely not of all time, but I feel like in modern comics, that was the most consistently good event because it spanned out of like a 5-year story.
Yeah, I love War of the Realms too. That's a good one.
We also have another question from Serenity. This is for both of you. Have you watched the Hulu Hardy Boys series? I have not. Oh, it came out 2 weeks ago. I haven't. But I did get Brant to watch The Wilds, and I've been really enjoyed that one.
Yeah, I've got 1 episode left. I got to finish that. But no, I every single episode is a cliffhanger. It's crazy.
Such a good show.
Yeah, it is a really good show. But no, I have not watched Hardy Boys yet. I
Yeah,
plan
no
to.
Hardy Boys. I haven't even watched Nancy Drew yet, and I've actually heard like pretty solid stuff about it.
I watched a few episodes of Nancy Drew, and then we fell off of it. But we plan to go back to it at some point.
We have a ton of questions, so we're gonna get through those, and then we'll go to our next book. What do you guys say about DC Future State? I mean, real quick, we all agreed that we're gonna. I mean, I think we all agreed we're gonna try reading every issue, at least of the first one of the series, so we could kind of get a gist and do, a good rundown on the show. So we're all in, I would say.
Yeah. All three of us, when we were on last time, I think we all kind of committed to trying every single one of them. So yeah, and some of them I'm excited about. I'm ready for something new.
Yeah, I think they all have some pretty interesting concepts, even the ones that like, oh, Swamp Thing I normally wouldn't be interested in, but who knows? May that'll be surprising too. Mark Hose, do you guys think Wonder Woman 1985 will underperform? I feel like nobody's talking about it. I can feel the complete opposite. I feel like that's all anyone's kind of talking about. I mean, it's the bubble we kind of all live in. But I mean, SNL just had Kristen Wiig on. So even I think outside of our bubble, no, I don't think so. It's landing on Christmas for a reason. I think a lot of people are going to watch on Christmas. Now, will it underperform in theaters? Hell yeah. But on HBO Max, no, I think even more people are going to watch it. Maybe not make more money, but I think we're going to get a lot of eyeballs on it.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more.
All right, let's get in. We'll answer some more questions after the next comic. So what's the next one?
Next one is New Mutants number 14. This was the new creative team taking over the book, and I honestly wasn't in love with it.
Me either. Not even Gabby could save this issue.
I know, and that I was like, I kept hanging on through the issue for Gabby. I was like, oh, maybe I do want to read this because of Gabby, and I couldn't get into the story. It was very decompressed, I felt, and it was just like, we're kind of training up these teams, and we're gonna, I think they were trying to do like a new X-Men Academy kind of style story here, but it kind of fell flat for me. So, and I wasn't really a huge fan of the art style either.
I didn't feel invested in any of the characters. I think that was my kind of biggest issue. It kind of felt like it was starting from the middle because the opening was, a conversation between two of the New Mutant characters. So it didn't really feel too new reader friendly, even after jumping off of X of Swords, which you would think in their minds, new creative team. And a lot of people have read every single X-Men book because they read X of Swords. They would want to make it as new reader friendly as possible.
Yeah. And it's like, the one nod to X of Swords that I did like was Magic and Warlock kind of fighting with swords, and that little comment. So, and there was some funny things like with Warpath's outfit and things like that. So it wasn't like a complete flop, but it just, like you said, there weren't any characters that I was totally invested in. I wasn't invested in any of the story points, so I probably will not continue with it.
Me either, sadly. And I think at least for me and Brant, I just want to like Magic. I just I want to see more of Ileana. I like her as a character, so it's kind of a shame that she's not in any great books right now.
Yeah, they've been building her character up for a few years now, really, really solidly. So I definitely want to see more of her. And so that was another reason I was like, maybe I'll read this, but it just, So we'll see.
I agree.
Going into our number 4, mine is a book we already talked about, Taskmaster, which was under the radar. So what was yours?
Was Immortal Hulk, which I don't believe you're reading right now, but it was an okay issue. I think there are some good shining moments. It's the Thing versus the Hulk, but I feel like because we've seen it before, I believe it was in Fantastic Four. I thought they did it a little better in that issue because it was just like a rematch, but I liked the religious aspect. We get to see the Thing bring up dying and his Jewish heritage and how that kind of relates to the more existential themes of the Immortal Hulk. And art is always good, and even if it's just kind of more of a action issue, I still enjoyed it.
Cool.
So before we get into some big books, let's get into some more comments. What's your favorite movie? Honestly, that's such a hard one because there's so many movies. But for me, I would say Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. It's kind of gone up there. Yeah, I really enjoyed that movie.
I mean, I like them. I love the movie. I don't know that I would listed as my favorite. I don't know. That's hard. I don't know. There's so many movies. How can you answer what's your favorite movie?
Yeah. What's your favorite scary movie?
My favorite,
only in Scream.
Yeah. My favorite Christmas movie of recent years, at least, Elf. I love Elf.
Oh man, we were actually trying to find a Christmas movie to watch today. We watched the what is it called? A Miracle on 34th Street.
Oh yeah.
I've seen it in pieces. I've never seen it all the way through. So we watched that. But it was between Elf. My dad's not a big fan of Will Ferrell, so he's like, "No, we're not watching Elf." So I was like, "Okay." And then it was A Wonderful Life, and I was like, "Oh, that's so long." So we watched that. So we're gonna maybe watch Knives Out tomorrow.
Yeah, it's funny. Lisa and I were talking about It's a Wonderful Life. Like, we both love the movie, but it's such a chore to get through. It's like such a good, heartfelt, conceptually solid story. But yeah, it's one of those. It's just, you got to be in that frame of mind, in that mood to sit through all that.
And also, the story's been done so many times.
Yeah.
After
in so
that,
many different ways, yeah.
In so many different ways. So it's, even if you've never seen the movie, you've kind of seen the movie. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's one of those things. So I think I'm done with the Christmas movies after this. One is enough for me.
Elf is the only Will Ferrell movie that I like. I don't like Will Ferrell either, but Elf is wonderful. I love that movie so much.
Yeah, Elf, I've only heard good stuff. I've only seen the first 10 minutes, and that was when it came out. We got a bootleg, and it didn't meet the lips, so we never finished it, and I've never watched the ending of Elf.
You should watch it. I actually saw that one in the theater, believe it or not.
Damn.
Yeah, that was good.
Gotta watch it one of these days. We have a lot of questions. Terry asks, Merry Christmas. I love your videos, and what did you all think of Stargirl? I loved it. Did you think it was one of the better DC shows? Only seen the pilot. I've heard great stuff. Haven't had time to watch more of it.
Yeah, same for me. It's like, I only have DC Universe on Roku, and I keep forgetting my login, so I don't ever watch it.
It's on HBO Max, I think, now.
Is it on HBO Max now?
I'm guessing. Or maybe it's only the CW. I actually don't know. I thought it was on HBO Max. I thought it would be. I'm not sure, actually.
If it is, I do have that, so maybe I'll go. Yeah, but all I've seen is the pilot. I really did like the pilot, though. So.
Yeah, no, pilot wasn't perfect in my opinion, but definitely gave enough to say, I'm going to watch more. I just, I say this all the time, but unless it's hard to watch superhero television shows because we deal with comics all the time. So when I want to relax, do I want to watch a superhero TV show? Probably not.
It's like I'm still like 2 seasons behind on Flash now at this point. It's like there's so
I don't
much
think I'm catching up on the Flash. It hasn't been very good.
Yeah, I know it hasn't. So it's like I want to complete it though. Like I've finished Arrow. I haven't finished any of the others though. So.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to get through that, but we'll see when they all finish. But yeah, we're gonna get into our next big book, and we'll answer more questions after that.
Yeah, so we talked about the new direction for Nightwing, but we have the current series going on still, Nightwing number 77, which was kind of a filler issue. I don't know if you read it or not.
I haven't. I think I'm just gonna wait for the Tom Taylor series.
You weren't missing anything with this issue. It was totally filler. It was a holiday story. Not a whole lot happened, and the writing was a little bit sappy for me. The whole story centered around Nightwing helping someone that he was trying to stop. It was like him and Batman were patrolling, and they got called in for this job, and there was like 2 different things going on. So Batman decided to go to Arkham and send Nightwing to this corporation that had been hacked. And, rich white people getting their money stolen. So Nightwing had to go rescue them. And it turned out to be a hacker that had gotten her technology stolen by this company and got fired. And now she was homeless. And Nightwing decides to help her instead of the corporation. And it was just, I don't know. I didn't feel it. And it felt a little, I don't know how to word it. It didn't feel like it did service to the characters it was trying to highlight. I'll explain it to you.
Seems very fillerish overall.
Yeah, definitely filler. There was some things I didn't like about it, the way that it portrayed certain characters and stuff like that. That I'll fill you in after the show. But
please do.
I don't recommend this issue. So,
well, it's the last one, I believe,
yeah,
until Future State. So I guess it was the last one of this creative team as well.
Yeah, exactly. And
so
then
Iron Man, right? Yeah. We'll do the next one, and we'll answer questions after that.
Yeah, so you already said Iron Man number 4 is the next big book we're going to talk about. And we were teasing this last week because you had actually gotten to read it or see it. You gotten to look at it. And so Hellcat and Iron Man, they did hook up.
They did.
Yeah.
They did.
Not loving it.
No, this was my least favorite issue. Yeah. But it wasn't horrible. Like I got it. Like I understood why they were doing it. They're both in like really bad places and they're just like, whatever, let's hook up. It definitely didn't come from a romantic standpoint, but at the same time, I don't really understand if she was being taken over by that guy and that guy hooked up with him. I don't really understand it very much.
Yeah, that was weird. It's like her powers are definitely Korvac. They're not her, right? So they're not going to last. So it's definitely temporary. So I think somebody in the comments said last week, oh, they're going to give her powers and take them away again. Yes, that's basically what they were doing here. But yeah, it's the Voldemort situation, right? It's like she's in his mind and he's in hers, and that's kind of what's going on here. And so, yeah, I didn't love the direction it took, but the stuff with Korvac getting super powered again, and now he's like, he's a classic villain, so I'm still enjoying that they're going back to that, they're revisiting that. I just don't like the way that they're doing it. So
I agree. I hope they get over this bump a bit. And again, I like them so much as friends, so it's just like, and I talked about this post show, so the viewers don't know this, but I feel like, he gets with every redhead. It's like, and then we just had the Wasp storyline. Just like do something different. Just have a female friend.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's Iron Man, like we talked about. So it's gonna happen with Iron Man. I was hoping Hellcat would not give into that, but yeah, I don't know.
But who knows if it's hers? So that's also another.
Yeah, Korvac just has a thing for Iron Man. No, Serenity. I did not say Cap and Iron Man. I said Hellcat and Iron Man.
Well, you know what? That would at
be
least
interesting.
That would be more interesting. Exactly.
It would definitely be an interesting way to go with those two, especially considering their history. Yeah. But yeah, no. And interestingly enough, Iron Man is my number 3. So.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah,
so that's your number 3.
Yeah. Aside from that aspect of it, I had still liked the book. Well, no, there wasn't a whole lot that was on my radar this week. So.
Yeah, it was an okay week for me. I really liked my number 1 book. I liked my number 2 and 3, which my number 3 is Stillwater, so we discussed it. But then I had 3.5-star books, obviously, as my number 4 and 5, so that's not like the best week. But yeah, before we get into the other big books, we will answer some questions here. So Mike Manhattan asks, not comic related, but anyone planning to watch Disney Soul? Yes, I'm going to watch that on Christmas after Wonder Woman.
Okay. I don't know. It's animated, right?
It's a Pixar movie, yeah.
Yeah. I don't watch a lot of animated stuff. Lisa gets on me all the time. She'll I'll be like, oh, I'll watch it with you, and then I never will, and she'll end up watching it alone. And I for some reason, I just have a problem with animated stuff. I don't know why. It's
understandable. Weird. Not for everybody. I love animated movies. I'm all for it.
Yeah, I used to. I don't know what happened. Just somewhere along the line.
Too many comics.
I guess so. Yeah, maybe that is it. So.
We also have Jimmy G who asks you, is your earlier Ember book available for sale?
Yeah. I think is it shop.lastnumberpress.com? I think you can find it there. Or lastnumberpress.backerkit.com or something. I'll send links somewhere. But yeah, it's available. Lastnumberpress.com. You can find a shop link there.
Go check it out. What would you say to the coming generations to influence them to read comic books? I don't think we personally need to say anything. I feel like the movies and TV shows are kind of been doing it for us. I would just say like the superhero books aren't the only thing that's out there.
Yeah, and also it's just the normal thing you say about the medium is that it's this perfect marriage of prose and, you know, movies.
Literature.
Yeah.
Well, that too. But
yeah, it's just, you know, you get the pictures and the words together, forming this unique bond that you wouldn't think is you know, was going to work back in the day, but you can do so many different things, and there's no budget. You know what I mean? So
Serenity says, "You grew up, Brant. I'm the same way with anime. I just can't get into it when I wasn't a kid. I don't know. I feel like it's kind of like comics. It's kind of saying the same thing when you're like, oh, well, only kids read comics. Only kids watch animation. I just think your tastes definitely change. I wouldn't say it's animation's only for kids.
No, and I think you probably hit it, Kat. It's that I'm so surrounded with, you know, comics and that kind of thing that when I watch TV, I don't want to see a live action comic. I want to see a live action movie or TV show or something like that.
Yeah. So. Sometimes you just want to see something different. Because especially for me and Brant, we do comics literally all day. That's like our main job as well. So it's like sometimes you love comics, and I love comics. Obviously, we wouldn't be here if we don't love comics, but can't always all day 24/7 deal with comics.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, especially when you want to have some downtime. You know, it's just, and that's I think the same thing for this question. My Hero Academia. So many people saying to watch it. I just, you know, I don't want to really watch a superhero show if I'm relaxing.
Yeah, I watched like a handful of episodes maybe a year ago, and I actually really did enjoy it. So I eventually will probably watch the rest of it, but it's the same thing when I go to watch something. It's like, I don't feel like watching that. I'm going to go watch, you know, The Wilds or something like that.
Exactly. Because that show, and I recommended it for Brant because I think he would enjoy it from a character perspective. But the reason I got so into that show is because it had nothing to do with anything I do. You know, it's just like these girls get trapped on an island and let's see their character-driven storyline. And I was like, oh, that sounds cool and sounds different. Like, I'd rather watch a show like that. We do have another question, then we'll get into our big books. Are you reading Red Hood? I believe we are all not reading Red Hood at this point. So,
yeah, it's like I was going to pick it up, and Kat told me that the creative team was only on it for like 2 issues, and it wasn't worth it. So I was like, no, I'll wait. So yeah, no, I don't think any of us are. All right. So let's get into our next big book. I'm going to wait on that one. Let's go King in Black, The Immortal Hulk. I actually did
another one.
read this one. Yeah, that was a book.
That's another one I kind of teased before you read it.
Yeah, it was. It was a silent issue, which is what you told us after we went off the air. It's like, oh, okay, that's going to be interesting. And then, man, what really got me, though, was the art in this book, man. It's like we had Joker Hulk, basically. This is like cheesing, and he was like super skinny and lanky, and it was just weird.
Yeah, the smiles were interesting in this one. Like, I got it. Like, I think it was supposed to be this overjoyed kid. Like, I definitely saw the direction it was going. It wasn't quite for me. I don't think it was horrible artwork, in my opinion, by any means. But, it definitely didn't fit the vibe, especially when a whole book is only art. I think it has to be, like, Cafu level artwork. And the story was just pretty plain, especially for King in Black. It's just like, okay, he didn't have a good childhood, and he wants presents. He wants to have a good Christmas. It's like, all right.
Exactly.
It wasn't much.
Yeah, it was like, okay, let's do a Christmas one shot, but tie it into King in Black. Throw some symbiotes in there.
No words, and it's hard because I think silent issues are. I like silent issues here and there, but they got to have a reason. And this one, I think actually would have been better if it had words in it.
Yeah, it was like they were trying to do like literally Silent Night, because it was Christmas themed. So I was like, okay, that's weird, but I don't know. It was odd. So, Jimmy asked me a question about.
Yeah, go for it. And I'll answer David. So do Jimmy's first.
Yeah, because we don't have any physical copies left of issue 0, but issue 0 is in Reforged. So if you get Reforged, you get 0 and 1, and you can get that digitally or physically. So
get Reforged. And then David asks, where's Spider Slayer? His wife's birthday's today, so he's celebrating with his wife, but he'll be back next week.
Yep. So happy birthday to Mike's wife.
Happy birthday. And I hope Mike's, well, actually, will we see Mike? Yeah, we're going to see Mike after Christmas. So hopefully they're also having a almost happy Merry Christmas.
Yeah, for sure.
Slaying spiders. Yeah, that's actually what he's doing. That's code for slaying spiders.
Didn't he post a funny video where he got pranked trying to kill a spider once?
He did. That was fun. That's on his group. Definitely go check out his Webheads group.
Yeah, he does not like spiders.
That was definitely the answer we got from that one.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so we're going into our next big book, which is Teen Titans Endless Winter Special #1. Oh, one shot. This was the only one that we were all going to collectively read after that first one, I think.
Yes, and we did.
And it was good. There were good parts about it. I felt a little bit lost with the Endless Winter parts, but luckily it was more focused on the Titans themselves. A little sappy at points, with the storyline. They're being punished and whatever. But I still liked some of the character moments. Crush freaking out about taking care of the kids and all this stuff, and Wally or Wallace, I guess. I didn't appreciate his attitude too much. It seemed a little out of character, but yeah, I don't know. It was there.
Yeah, so. It was definitely, they had some good moments. I mean, if you look at our, sorry, I was choking on my own throat. But yeah, if you look at our panels this week, there was a lot of good panels from it, like a lot of good small moments, but as an overall issue, it was just fine. It was just nice to see those characters again. It was cool to see them team up with Donna and Beast Boy, but nothing too special. But overall, yeah, I'm glad I bought it, but I'm not going to continue to read Endless Winter.
Yeah, no, me either. It's it gives me hope for the future of Titans. So if it did anything, it confirmed my love for some of those characters. But other than that, yeah, there wasn't a whole lot to grasp onto if you're not into Endless Winter.
Exactly. We have some other questions, and then we'll get into our number 2s. But David Berg asks, did you guys read Atlantis Wasn't Built for the Fish? It ended this last week. I have not.
I have not either. No, I don't. I know what book you're talking about, but I don't even remember who publishes that.
Me. Is it Scout?
I can't remember if it's Scout or Vault or it's one of those.
One of those. I think it might be Scout. You have to let us know. Other questions, or this is just a comment here. If comics have monthly subscription like Netflix or Amazon Prime, it'd be so easy for us. I mean, they technically do, because you have that Comixology Unlimited, you have the Marvel Unlimited, you're getting DC Universe or whatever it's called now, DC Infinity.
Yeah, Marvel used to do subscriptions in the back of their comics too, where you could get them delivered monthly and stuff like that. And I think you can still sign up for certain titles through different services, DCBS or maybe even Midtown. I'm not sure, but I think
Midtown you could do. It's pretty much having a pull list, though. They're not cheaper.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know that works as well for comics as it does for movies and TV shows, though.
Yeah. Also, comics is movies and TV shows have millions of dollars they could play with. Comics does not, so it's a little harder. As the publisher, you also don't want to lose money, so you have to make a smart move there. We do have another question from Jimmy, and then we'll get into our number 2s. That's a great deal, Brant. I'll be ordering that Thursday. Can you sign it for me?
Sure.
Yeah.
Message me or remind me to do that, though. Why? Serenity said that sadly, Scott. Why is it sadly? I like
Scott's got good stuff.
Scott's awesome.
Yeah. Scott's got good books, good people.
Yeah.
Doing a lot in a year as well. They've went over some interesting, I don't want to say hurdles, but they've done a lot of cool stuff in TV, movies.
Yeah.
Simon Schuster, they've done so much in just a span of a year and being an indie company.
Yeah. Didn't they even purchase a surf clothing line or something?
Yeah, they've done so much.
Weird move, but okay, that's cool.
Yeah,
I don't understand
they got something.
Yeah, I don't understand the reasoning behind that one, but I'm sure they have one.
There's a surf comic coming out soon.
Maybe. So
we're up to number 2?
Yeah, I didn't know if you were going to more questions. Yes, number 2 is mine is actually Black Cat. So we already talked about it. I think we talked about all my top 5 at this point.
I have one more that we definitely didn't talk about. So my number 2 was Power Rangers issue 2.
I figured that was in there somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good issue. It's very different than what we've gotten in the past. It's kind of like a horror aliens vibe, like the movie Aliens. So we get to see the Omega Rangers are trapped on a space station. These vampires are trying to kill them, as Lord Draken's on there as well. So it's a really interesting, very different issue for Power Rangers, which made it a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's cool. I meant to catch up this week, and I just ran out of time. I didn't even get to read all my books this week. But that's definitely, it's definitely on my list to try, though. I'm going to try both of the new series.
Maybe next week, because there's so little books.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
I got to finish God Country. I don't even know where I put that trade, so that's not good. I got to find it.
I was thinking about getting the True Trades, so that's probably going to be my next thing that I dig into.
The first issue was good.
Yeah. Let's see. Our last big book to talk about then is X-Force number 15, which I read. Did you read it? Okay.
No.
Cool. I liked it better than I thought I would. I don't know if it's going to hold my interest going, in the long term, but it hooked me enough, I think, to come back with it. So they picked up with interrogating Colossus, which was interesting. Beast is kind of taking this dark turn. And now we got this creature coming up from the bottom of the sea that's infecting all kinds of people, and people are washing up on shore, and now Krakoa is being invaded by this creature now, I guess. So interesting, direction to take with it. So I'm curious to see where it goes. And the stuff with Omega Red was, really dark. So we're getting dark Beast vibes from Beast here. So what'd you think of it?
Oh, I didn't read it, so it's fun.
Oh, I thought you said you did read it. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. I out of the X-Men books I was gonna try after X-Force, or not X-Force, X of Swords, was New Mutants, and that let me down. So I think we're just gonna skip with my Marauders and X-Men, and I'll try Children of the Atom. I was gonna say if there are any new ones. I think that's the only other new X-Men book that's coming out after this.
Yeah,
The Sword came out, and I didn't read that.
You probably wouldn't have dug this one anyway. It's very similar to what it was before. Better art, I think, this time around. But yeah, it's still that same kind of. They picked it up where it left off. So yeah, we'll see if I stick with it or not. I'll try. I'll definitely pick up the next issue though.
And also, guys, since we're heading towards the end, if you guys have any of those last-minute questions after our most anticipated, we'll answer those.
Yeah. So we're going into our number 1 then, which mine is Stillwater.
Mine is Second Coming. So we already talked about it.
Cool. And that's our top 5 in our big book. So on to the chopping block.
Chopping block.
And
are you chopping anything this week?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got one solid and one half. So I'll start with my half, which is Commanders in Crisis. I've been sticking with it. This issue kind of lost me a little bit. I enjoyed the first 2 issues, and this one just, I don't know, just something about the way this one was constructed, it didn't all mesh together for me. And I wasn't really connecting to any of the characters in this issue. And it just was it felt all over the place, and I didn't really know where it was going from here. So I'll give it one more, and then I don't know. We'll see from there. Excuse me. But the other one we're both chopping, it looks like, which is
we are
New Mutants.
New Mutants. Yeah. We talked about it. So not in the next issue. I'm glad I tried it though.
Yeah. I'm glad I tried it too, but I was disappointed. I was hoping for something completely fresh and new, but
me too.
Yeah. All right. So on to most anticipated then. So
not much. So get ready.
Yeah,
buckle up.
I know. We got like 5 books to talk about. I'll start with Scumbag for you.
Yeah, Scumbag, been loving this book. So it's just 2 very different worlds coming together of this kind of scientific future government agency who needs to save the world, and this scumbag who just wants some drugs. And he needs to save the world to do so, and he has these powers, and it's just a very interesting fish out of water book, I guess I would call it. But yeah, I'm having fun with it.
Cool. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I'm still not going to read it.
No, as I think we said with the first issue, not Brant's taste.
Yeah, for sure. Just to mention this one real quick, Excalibur. I'm just going to try it because it's after X of Swords, and see. I probably won't like it, but we'll see. I'm going to give it a shot. And An Unkindness of Ravens, issue 4. I really enjoy this book. And did you ever try it?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Maybe the art turned me off. I remember like looking at the solicit and being like, "Oh, that looked cool." Yeah. And maybe I skimmed it. I'm like, never mind.
Okay. Yeah, it's an interesting book. It's this girl. I don't know how much you know about it, but this girl comes to this town. Like her dad grew up in it, and her mom dies, so they come back to this town, and weird things start happening. Like there's this girl that's missing that looks exactly like her, but they're not related supposedly. And then there's like these two factions. There's like this rich girl, and then there's these witches, and she's being torn between both and trying to find her place. So it's very Sabrina Archie-esque, but it has a little bit of mystery to it. So it's a fun series. I like it.
It sounds fun. It sounds cool. I'll have to maybe put my reading towards it a little bit more.
Yeah. Maybe when the first trade comes out.
Yeah, first trade's a good place to. Is it a mini or is it an ongoing?
I don't know. I actually don't know. Maybe it is just a mini. So I'll have to look it up. The last two we both marked, so that's cool. Spider-Woman number 7, which I know that we haven't liked it as much as we wanted to.
Yeah, well, not the series, but at least this arc.
This arc, yeah.
Yeah, because I like this series, but this space arc is kind of weird. So I'm not really looking forward to this issue. I know it's under most anticipated, but also getting like 5 books. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we'll see how it turns out.
Yeah. It doesn't say whether it's a miniseries or an ongoing Unkindness of Ravens. So
and it's Boom. Who releases it?
It's Boom. Yeah.
Boom usually announces if it's a mini or not. So I have a feeling it's probably an ongoing.
Right. Yeah. So I'm wrong. Issue 5 is the series finale. So wait for the trade cat. Yeah. So
and also let me know that it ends well, because if then you're like, it ended horribly. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll let you know in January whether you should pick it up or not. Yeah. So same thing for me for Spider-Woman. I love the series, but this arc hasn't grabbed me as much as I'd hoped. But not much coming out tomorrow. So and the last one is King of Black number 2. We both enjoyed issue 1. I enjoyed it a lot. I know that you enjoyed it more than you thought you would.
Yeah. So. And, I wasn't going to originally get issue 2 just because there's so much coming out, but nothing's coming out tomorrow. So why not give it another shot?
Exactly. So I really enjoyed that first issue so much more than I thought I would. I thought it was a really solid first issue for the event. So I'm looking forward to this one. What was a filler? I missed that.
The Spider-Woman for the issue.
Yeah. Okay.
6 maybe they were talking about. I think they were talking about issue 6 because issue 7 comes out tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay. So that's it for most anticipated, though. That's all we got because, like we said, we're getting like 5 or 6 books. So
we do have.
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna say
That's what I was gonna say. Any last comments or questions? I was about to ask you that. So
I don't know what you guys are talking about. My pull list is large for tomorrow. Ha ha.
Really? Wow. Okay.
I don't know how many.
A lot of indie. Yeah.
Yeah, because I couldn't get, honestly, like I'm getting more books than I normally would because I added King and Black on it. So it's just like 5 books.
I scoured it. Like I went over that list like 3 times trying to find like even some smaller books that, maybe. I mean, like I'm reading Goosebumps from IDW. I think that issue is finally coming out tomorrow. It got delayed. So there's that. But other than that, I didn't see a whole lot. So I'm curious what you're getting.
Yeah, and how big your pull list is. Now, the week after, I'm getting like 20 plus books. It's going to be crazy because we're reading all the Future State books. So it's a big pile because of it. So I'm getting a lot in January, but this is definitely a break. And usually it is. Like, Christmas doesn't usually release that many, but usually they release a bigger book from both companies. They'll always have like one, like issue 1 that is like, really big. So I'm surprised it's only King and Black issue 2 that's coming out. So they want to try to get people into the comic book store. Yeah. So I'm shocked that they're like, nah, taking a break.
Yeah, exactly. He listed some of the books that he's picking up. I don't think
Oh,
we're reading any of those.
yeah, so Department of Truth, we both dropped last
Yeah.
issue, or maybe last issue you also dropped it, right?
I dropped it after the first. I don't think I even read the first, actually. I don't think it appealed to me.
Yeah, I didn't love the art, so
Yeah.
it wasn't something I needed. Something is killing the children. I particularly didn't love the first issue, so I've never
I never tried
continued.
it. Yeah.
Philadelphia, I don't read. The Marked, I don't read. Gideon Falls, I don't read. Family Tree, I am getting, so that's on the list. Death
Yeah.
Metal, not currently reading.
I don't read Death Metal. I don't read the White Knight stuff.
I do read White Knights Carly. I am getting that. But yeah, it seems like you're getting a lot of indies, which is great.
Yeah.
It's filling
Just
up
not-
your list.
Yeah, just not ones that we actually read. So that's
Except
fine.
Family Tree, which is great.
Yeah.
So keep going with that one. David did ask, is it time to cut? We only find them when they are dead. I believe we all cut it with issue 1. So
I didn't even read issue 1.
oh well, there you go. Brant didn't even read issue 1.
I got it and I flipped through it and it just I never actually went back and read it.
David is not happy with our words. He said, "You dropped Department of Truth." Wow. Yeah, it had such an interesting concept, but it just was. There was no character that really jumped out at me. Like I'm more of a character-driven reader, so I'm just like, it was great. Like it's a good story. I can't say it's a bad comic because it's not. It just wasn't for me. And Something is Killing Children. I feel like I have to read the first trade to kind of get it. Like the first issue, I actually read that first issue like 2 months or 3 months before it came out. So I didn't know any of the hype. I just kind of read it and I did an interview for it. And it just didn't really appeal to me. But then I heard all this hype. So must be missing something.
Yeah, Department of Truth. Honestly, anything political, I just I can't get into right now. It's part of the it's anything that deals with politics. It's just kind of draining me. So
yeah, I actually like political books, and
I do generally. But
yeah, but
right
because of
now,
the world we're living in,
exactly.
Yeah,
It's like
hard.
Yeah, like I like shows, like even shows that deal with politics and stuff like that, but I just cannot bring myself to watch any of them right now. So,
And I feel like with Department of Truth was a little bit of a confusing book because it was like it was explaining. Well, I know you didn't read any of it, but it was just like, but these are true, and like I don't know. It was just it was a little confusing for me as well.
Yeah, I also the art didn't like really appeal to me either.
Art was the big thing, yeah. Jimmy asks, "Can Lisa sign it too?"
Sure. Yeah.
Did Lisa do
that's
anything
easy to do.
Was Lisa doing anything for Last Ember?
Yeah, she colored I think she colored it. Yeah.
Did she? I mean, you would know more than me.
Yeah, because she definitely colored the first issue 0 and 1. Yeah.
So there you go. Even if Lisa wasn't involved, you could still get Lisa's signature.
She also edited issue 0, so yeah.
So there you go. Lisa is extremely involved, but even if she wasn't on the credits, she's always involved.
Yeah, of course, absolutely. Plus, I just have to walk in the other room and ask her to sign it.
Please, Lisa. Lisa's like, no, I don't give my signatures away. Yeah, it seems like that's all the questions. So we'll start wrapping up and just going down a rundown of what we're. Sorry, I was just reading a Department of Truth comment. It's very confusing, but I think it's just one to stick to. Crazy world. Yeah, it's definitely very confusing. I'm like, what is the plot? Question mark.
Yeah. I don't hate the book. It wasn't my thing at the time. So
exactly. So yeah, we're gonna wrap up and see what's coming up for everybody. Since everybody is just the two of us. So Brant, what's coming up for you?
I mean, right now I'm gonna enjoy the holidays and kind of I'm in this Kickstarter hangover kind of mode. Oh, yeah. I'm starting to get back into it and preparing for I'm setting up backer kit surveys and that kind of thing. But nothing like as far as release wise. I don't have anything I'm doing. The only thing I'll throw out there is a tease that we kind of put out on social media today that Comic Frontline has a Kickstarter account now. Kickstarter.com/profile/Comic Frontline. Go follow it because there's something coming in the new year very soon, actually. So.
There is, and hopefully we will announce that soon. Very excited about it. So for me, I feel very lazy at this point because of Kickstarter. You just kind of did all that energy, and now you're like, usually like my brother's here for break for Christmas, and usually I have so much to do during the day, and today like I had a little bit of a break between interviews, so I have a big interview tomorrow, and I finished up an interview yesterday. I was like, today I'm like, not really gonna do anything. Usually I like push myself to do an assignment that's due a couple weeks from now, and I was like, I'm good. I'm just gonna chill out a little bit. So it's Christmas, you gotta take a little break. So even if it's a work day, if you don't have too much to do, maybe sometimes it's nice to sit back.
I mean, it's a double whammy. It's like the holidays, and we just came off Kickstarters, and you need time to decompress after a Kickstarter. You just do.
You do.
So taxing.
Sure. Yeah, we like we've said, we have some plans maybe for Kickstarter very, very soon for something related to Comic Frontline. And then me and Brant have a lot of Kickstarters coming up in 2021. So it's just like, you got to take a little break.
Adding more by the day, actually.
Oh, man.
I'll fill you in. But it's I think we'll wait until Mike's back to announce it so we can all announce it together. But we might just go ahead and announce it next week.
Yeah. We'll say that it's for teasing for this is that it's coming really soon. So it's in January that we're doing it. And we'll probably announce it next week so you guys can prepare, but something that you guys hopefully will really enjoy. We're really excited about it and all our ventures. And next week, like we said, we'll have a show. We can't promise it's going to be long, but kind of like this one, we'll probably fill it out with some Q&A. But we actually had more to talk about this week, so it's going to be an interesting show next week. But please join us because we love it. We will definitely make it a fun show, and we'll get questions probably and do a Q&A and maybe talk about Wonder Woman. That'd be kind of fun if any of us watch it. We could talk about that. I know I'll be watching it.
I'm pretty sure I will be too. And and also check out comicfrontline.com. We're doing the best of 2020. I think we got one more category to go, and then we'll do the whole wrap up thing. And then of course panels and all that stuff that Kat works so hard on every week.
Thank you. I try, and it's a lot of fun. So we just like to get your votes, and best of it. You guys are involved as well because you guys get to vote for the best. We don't get to vote for it, so you guys vote for the best of the year. So that's a lot of fun, and we have a good time with it. And same for panels. We're gonna do all these panels. They add up to the end of the year, so you get to vote for the best panel of the year. So definitely go check that all out. Also on my side, I just put issue 6 of Like File Like Daughter on Etsy, so that's my store. So I was saving it because I just had a Kickstarter. Why would I put people to Etsy if I want people to back up the Kickstarter? Right. So it's now on Etsy. The variant covers are there as well. So if you guys missed out on issue 6 or you're more of a direct buyer instead of a Kickstarter buyer, which Kickstarter is always better. But if you do like going to an online shop or you want to get yourself a Christmas present or whatever, go check that out.
Absolutely. All right.
Cool.
All right. So there's that. And so definitely subscribe to us so you don't miss a thing, and hit that notification bell so you get notifications on us. Check us out across social media, and give us a like so we know that you like the show. And thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.